Minister, thank you for coming to the House today to represent the Minister for Health at this important debate. The first point I'd like to make, Minister, is I believe that the HSE is being overstressed in the responsibilities that has been placed on it by government. It's responsible for the general health care of the public, it's responsible for the test and tracing, and now it's responsible for the rollout of the vaccine. It's my view, and I want to put it on the record, that there should have been a single person reporting directly to the Taoiseach who would be responsible for the rollout of the vaccine, and that person would have the Taoiseach's authority to cut through any red tape or any blockages that may be in the system in order to get the vaccine out, up and running as fast as possible. With respect to the vaccine, I'm wondering why aren't the government giving the numbers? Every evening on RTE we get the bad news at 6 o'clock, and it has become a feature in all of the households that I am engaged with. At 6 o'clock every evening, I wonder what the numbers are going to be this evening. Wouldn't it be great to hear that we rolled out 1,000 vaccines today? We had 1,000 infections, but we rolled out 2,000 vaccines. Wouldn't that be an important PR message to get out there for government? But more importantly, it would be giving hope to the people that are depending. Because there was, I believe, Minister, once the vaccines were approved, there was a sort of a euphoria ran through society. Oh, this is great, vaccine on the way, we're covered. Great stuff, we can all get back to normal. Until we look up the ready reckoner that was put on the internet there some time ago, and I looked, if you're 40 years of age and healthy in this country, you're not likely to be vaccinated until sometime in November to May of 2022. So, you know, we need to get people aware of the fact that this is a slow and extremely arduous programme to roll out. But not only that, the manufacturers themselves can run into problems as it goes along. And as a government, we have to be honest with people and say, you know, AstraZeneca, whatever, may run into difficulties in the production. And if they do, it's going to set back our programme, and people need to be aware of that and need to be comfortable with it. I cannot for the life of me understand why we are not rolling out antigen testing. I see it's been rolled out in every school in Austria now. I see it's been rolled out in other European countries. And for some reason, we seem to have a mental block when it comes to the antigen testing, which would give an answer in 30 minutes. It would put us in a situation where we could open our schools, we could open our retail, we could open our restaurants, and we would test staff at the point of entry every morning. I understand from the little knowledge I have, and I'm no medic, but from the little knowledge I have, I understand that the antigen test will give a result within 30 minutes, and it is particularly good where there is a heavy infection. So I know that there's been some move recently to do that, but you know, this morning we had a discussion here about the Leaving Cert, which I believe should be postponed now. In fact, I think it should be scrapped this year and either set the year back or put ourselves in a situation where we will deal with the same system as we had in 2020. So that's something that is of concern to me. Again, with the rollout of the vaccine, we have a two-stage rollout on the island of Ireland. Northern Ireland has been rolled out on one particular, and the Republic here has been rolled out in a different way. The issue of quarantine has come up, and I heard the Minister for Justice on Sunday saying we're not going to control the border, and I don't intend to discuss it any further type thing. We controlled the border for foot and mouth disease in 2001-2002 to protect sheep and cattle. Now, we cannot cull humans, so surely to God we should be controlling the border. Of course, the problem with controlling the border is countless governments have disinvested in the Defence Forces and in Garda presence on the border. And we're in the result that we would have great difficulty in doing it, but we should do it. And we should do it in cooperation with the PSNI in Northern Ireland, where people crossing from this side over would be stopped as well. So if we can't get agreement with the Northern Executive on an exactly similar system, a facsimile both sides, if we can't get that, then we must seal the border and allow our vaccination programme to go ahead independent of what's going on elsewhere in the world. I'd like to know, Minister, and it's probably a bit unfair to ask you today, but can you set out precisely what's stopping what has been discussed that's stopping the control of the border? Now, I think the original plan, if you want, for the rollout, nobody in this country would deny those who are in long-term care facilities who are 65 or over from having the vaccine. And I would, again, I'd love to know how far we are with that and how many nursing homes are left in the country that need to have the vaccine. I've no difficulty with that at all. Frontline healthcare workers, it's a title that is fraught with all sorts of argument. Who is frontline? Yes, I was in hospital 2 weeks ago. I had surgery 2 weeks ago in hospital. I have to say they were marvellous, right? And the frontline people that looked after me were great. I was tested on the way in, tested while I was in there, and tested on the way out. Fantastic. Everybody will agree that people working in medical institutions should be administered the vaccine. But we want to open schools. Don't tell me, please, today that children don't transmit the vaccine or the COVID. And don't tell me, please, that they're not susceptible to it. My 3-year-old granddaughter tested positive for COVID-19 and locked us all up for a fortnight. She was only 3. So if she can test positive, any child can test positive. So from that point of view, I believe we should be looking after our teachers. There is an important part of frontline work in this country, as the hospitals are, if we want to get our children back into the schools. I would also say the same applies to the Defence Forces and the Gardaí. I have to compliment the Gardaí. Every day over the weekend, out where I live, up close to the Dublin Mountains, there were Garda checkpoints all over the place, turning people back, doing the job they're being asked to do by the government. They should have been vaccinated by now in order to protect them. The 65 to 69-year-olds with medical conditions, I think this is seriously flawed, Minister. I think of those children over 16 years of age with CF. I think of the children over 16 years of age who have suffered from cancer, whose immune system is seriously threatened. Why, in God's name, haven't we included them in one of the top levels of rollout, that they would be protected from the earliest possible date? Key workers, when we talk about key workers, for me, and I don't know how my colleagues feel about it, but for me, the key worker is the young lady or young man that's sitting at the cash register in Dunnes Stores. For me, the key worker is the bus driver that is met every day by the few people who have to travel to work. And I have tremendous respect for Professor McKay. But at the end of the day, I think we need to go back and look and see who are the real key workers. Look, there's lots of other things I would say. I will say this much, Minister, where the vaccine is concerned. The anti-vaxxers, get off my back. I don't want to hear from you. And if I need to do it, I'll have my vaccine given to me out on the plinth in full public view. These clowns are causing serious problems, particularly for elderly people who are saying, God, maybe they're right, maybe there's something wrong with this. Right? So, Minister, I congratulate you for what you're doing. You're doing a good job, but we need to ramp up the PR on it. Thank you.